There's one diet myth that seems to come back and bite us again and again and again, and we always fall for it. So today we're gonna talk about it. So the diet myth we're talking about today is that there is one food or one food group that is responsible for all of our problems. And you might be thinking, come on, Sarah, I don't think that one food is the key to everything. And maybe you don't, but maybe you do. And that's why I wanted to talk about this today, because this is a myth that I think is really sneaky, and sometimes we believe it and we don't even realize it. So the first reason this myth is so easy to get wrapped up in is because it is a shape shifter. It adjusts, it takes different forms, and so we don't always see it for what it is because it looks like it's something different. And to show you what I'm talking about, I want to go through some examples. So in the 80s and 90s, this myth came in the form of low fat and no fat, because at that time, fat was the bad guy. Fat was the reason for all of your problems. It was making you unhealthy. It was the bad guy. And all you had to do was cut out fat and you would be way healthier. And with that came a lot of low-fat diets, but it also brought on a lot of low-fat and fat-free products. Some of these were reformulations, so making low-fat salad dressing or low-fat cookies, and others were just slapping a label on something that already naturally doesn't have fat. Jelly beans, they're fat-free, so eat all you want because, I mean, if it doesn't have fat, that means it's healthy, right? And that's just one example. So if we move forward in time, then we get into the low-carb craze. Carbs are the bad guy. Cut out the carbs. No bread, no pasta, they're evil, you can't eat them. If you just want to eat 100% meat, that would be great because it doesn't have carbs, right? So that means it's healthy. But, if you want to try to eat some fruit, you need to watch that a little bit, right? Because fruit has sugar, fruit has carbs, and that makes it bad. And when you break it down like this, it does sound pretty ridiculous, but that's why this myth is so scary to me, because at its core, it's something that we all know really isn't true, but we still seem to get wrapped up in it. So moving forward even further, now in kind of the more recent years and kind of present day, we have gluten is evil, okay? Some people have celiac disease and they have issues with gluten, so that means that all of us actually have issues with gluten and you just didn't know it. Like, it's been a big secret, you had no idea, it was a mystery, and now we know that gluten is the source of all of your problems. So just cut gluten. You know what? Gluten isn't enough. How about all grains? We should just cut out all the grains because all the grains are the problem. Dairy, have you heard about how bad dairy is for you? You should just cut it out completely. I went dairy free and my life is totally changed. This is the kind of talk that we still have going on right now. So even when people are talking about how low fat, that was so crazy. Can you believe that we did that? They're still doing the same type of thing right now. It's just a different version of that same idea. And look, I'm not saying we shouldn't think about nutrition or how the food we eat affects our body and how we feel, but what I'm just saying is that it's not just one thing. And that's the other reason why this myth is so dangerous, because I think it feeds this desire we have for a simple answer. We want that easy solution. We just want to hear that this one thing or this couple of things, that's the issue. And so if you just get rid of that, or if you just eat more of this thing over here, then you'll be perfectly healthy and that's all you need to worry about. We don't want to hear the honest truth that, food and nutrition, it's more complicated than that. It's not just about one food or one food group. It's really about getting a variety of foods and balancing our plate and eating foods that we enjoy, and also eating foods that make us feel good in our bodies, give us energy and all that kind of stuff. But that's not something that's really easy to slap on the cover of a book or to sell in a diet plan. And so that's why that kind of information, it doesn't sound as sexy, right? It's not as fun and exciting to just know this is the enemy that we're fighting against. And if we just get rid of this food, then we'll all be happy and perfect and everything will be wonderful. But really, the variety, the balance, all that kind of stuff, that's really where the truth is. And the other problem with this myth is that a lot of times it does start out with that kernel of truth, but then it just gets blown totally out of proportion. But a lot of times it's hard to see that because we see that root that was something that was true, and so it can kind of make us think that all the rest of it is true too. And I think gluten and dairy are great examples of this because yes, it is true that some people can't eat gluten, but that doesn't mean that everyone can't tolerate it. Yes, it is true that some people are lactose intolerant, so they aren't going to do well with dairy, but that doesn't mean that everyone has GI issues when they eat dairy products. And I think the latest version of this myth is the whole anti-sugar thing that's happening right now. Right now, it is really cool to talk about how sugar is so bad for you, sugar is evil, sugar is the root of all of our problems. And yes, it is true that we don't want to get too much sugar, we want to balance our plate, but that doesn't mean that fruit is evil all of a sudden. I mean, when you see people talking about like, oh, you ate a banana today, maybe you need to cool it down because that's a lot of sugar and it's going to kill you. Like, that stuff is ridiculous. And we all kind of know it's ridiculous, but at the same time, we want to believe that there's some secret or some mystery or some one thing that we can just like hold on to. And you know, if this is true and we follow this, then everything's gonna be okay and we're not gonna have any problems. But the truth is that just isn't the case. And let me know in the comments, have you ever gotten wrapped up in one of these things, whether it's one of the ones that I mentioned or a different one that I forgot entirely? Let me know because, I mean, there's no shame in that. I think we have all gotten wrapped up in one of these things at one point or time, but share that in the comments so we can talk about it because I definitely want to know what you think about this whole thing. And if you like this video, then make sure that you give it a thumbs up. And if you are new here and you want more healthy eating tips and nutrition info and healthy recipes, then make sure that you subscribe because eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle really doesn't have to be complicated, and I want to show you how to do it. And if you're loving the free info here, but you're finding that you need something more personalized, don't forget that I do offer one-on-one nutrition coaching and counseling. So if you're interested in working with me, just let me know and we can get that set up for you. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.